since we're talking of leadership 3.0, I think today we are seeing a whole array of world leaders, ranging from Trump to Putin to, Jessica Ardern from New Zealand. And who do you think fits in the leadership 3.0 definition? Which are the world leaders who you think we should be looking up to as role models?
Stephen, let me remind you, it is not a question who is not. I know the answer. It's a question who is.
You've come to the wrong person. I think I'm quite cheeky, unless you've already guessed. Of course, the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. My wife and I wrote the 7 failings of really useless leaders. So I study failings. That's why Alok and I get on so well. I'm sorry, no, I'm just cheeky. Here we go. In the context of community, who are the people who build communities? That's what I would urge you to look for. Leaders who build communities now and later, forever. And I also have a different group of people I want to think about. And one of the amazing things about India, one of the many amazing things, is that you have a Teachers' Day. And you appreciate your gurus. And so I would urge you to look to your teachers. Look to teachers as a role model, because when you share knowledge, and those of us in leadership are no longer, unless you dig something out of the ground, unless you polish the diamonds, unless you are an engineer, we don't work with our hands. Mostly leaders work with this muscle up here in our minds. And so for us, the thing that we do is we create and curate knowledge. And so teachers are a really important role model. And so as a teacher who was very important to me, I'd like to refer to Marshall Goldsmith. Marshall Goldsmith, the amazing coach who is constantly building communities. Now, I want to tell you a quick story, because I first met him not in America or in the UK. I met him in India, in Hyderabad. I heard this voice in the lecture theatre behind me. That's an American voice, and I know that voice. Who is it? And I went round, and it was Marshall Goldsmith. He was teaching in the exact lecture theatre behind me, and he was teaching coaching to individuals while I was teaching coaching to managers. And he said, let's meet and we'll chat. And I was a little fanboy here. I was in absolute awe of this amazing guy. And he's written 35 books. I've written 15, which is not too bad, but he'd written 35. And I said, look, how do you stay at the cutting edge? How do you stay at the cutting edge of teaching and education? And he said something that has stayed with me since I first met him, and I think is relevant here today. And he said, you have to reinvent yourself. You have to take every opportunity to reinvent yourself. And I think this is such an opportunity. It's an opportunity. It's not an opportunity we wanted, but it is an opportunity to look clearly and honestly at ourselves and to say, which parts of me, what do I do that I want to retain and grow and develop? And what do I do that I want to stop doing some of? And I said, that's an amazing insight, reinvent yourself. But how do I reinvent myself? What do I need to do? And he said, the first thing is you've got to change your story. What story are you telling about yourself? I'm an accountant. I'm an engineer. I'm an oil person. I'm a farmer. Because he said the story you need to be telling about yourself is you're human and that you care for others. And maybe I'll come back to that in a little while. The second technique he shared was building a brand, which to some extent we've touched on, so I won't drill into that too much. But I think it's to recognize that we as leaders have a responsibility as a talisman for our people, not to stand above them or to be dictators to our people, but to stand for something for our people. Our people will imbue us with meaning, will imbue you with meaning. What do your people think you stand for or mean. And I love this idea of reinventing yourself. And I think this, back to Samir again, you've really got into my ear with that question. Samir, it is about reinventing ourselves. So yes, this is an amazing opportunity. Teachers.
Who's your pick amongst the current world leaders, Stephen? Who's your pick?
Say one more time.
Who's your pick amongst the current world leaders?
I think he missed that. He said, he said, go to the teachers. No.
Yeah. I'm not going to pick world leaders.